Welcome back, Wanderers. It is I, Dave the Tabletop Wanderer, and we are back with some more Shadow of Alnor. Yes, we are going to continue with Streamline Superheroes right here, and, of course, Killian Silverwood, the Shadow of Alnor. Okay, so last episode, what happened was Killian got through an illegal gambling house, and he met up with the mistress, Vireya, and I forgot to put an A at the end of her name. Yes, we're starting off really well, aren't we? And in the end, he overcame in this tough little battle. He overcame the mistress, but he didn't get much information about what the Veins, who they are, and what they are doing, or the Pale One. So today we are going to be continuing with the story, and we're picking up where we left off. And where we left off was Killian was at his home, and he had fallen asleep, and today this is how it's going to start up. So he's sleeping, and all of a sudden he just hears this. Open up, Killian, open up. And he just gets startled, and he wakes up, runs to the door, opens the door, and in comes Bryn Amadis. So Bryn walks in, and she looks at him, and she can see that he's a bit, tuckered out. He's a bit tired, and he is a bit, sore. And she goes to him, "Was it you? Was it you?" And he says, "Was it me? What? Did you go to the Tinkerer's quarters and go into that house, and did you do that mess that we found?" He says, "What mess? What house?" She said, there was this house marked by us that was a sort of an illegal gambling house, and what happened? Something happened last night, and somebody gave us an information that something happened there, and when we got there, it was a massacre. There was bodies all over the place, and there was this lady there. She in the main room of the whole building. She had her neck was cut. She was dead. And Killian grabs her, pulls her inside, and closes the door and says, "Turn your voice down. You asked for my help. I'm helping. This is my way. You want it done? We do it my way. You're not doing it your way because you're not getting results. That's why you came to me. Yes, it was me. I did what I had to do. I defended myself. She tried to kill me. They all tried to kill me." And he lifts up his shirt, and Bryn can see that there's this cut on the side of his on his rib cage. There's this cut there. He goes, "See, that's what they did to me, and I managed to get away. I didn't get any information though. She only said something about the Pale One, and that's it. Nothing about the Veins. Nothing about nothing else. Just that." And Bryn turns to him and goes, "But did you have to kill them?" "Well, it was either them or me. And to be honest, I preferred it to be them." But it was just like, it was a slaughterhouse. "Look, if we're going to do it, you have to be ready for casualties. Okay? Then we'll talk about that. Do you have any information for me?" And they walk into the sort of study, and Killian sits behind his desk, and Bryn sits in front of him. She says, "Well, what we do know is that the Veins, they're distributing this sort of drug through the streets of Alnor, which has been christened and called the Mind Bend. We're calling it the plague, the Mind Bend plague, because we don't know how it's made, what it's made from, but we do know that it turns people crazy. It doesn't kill them though. It is highly addictive, but it doesn't kill them. But it just turns them crazy, and they go and do crazy stuff, and they end up dying, but not because of the direct consequences of the mind bend, but from the actions they do because of the mind bend. And Killian goes, okay, I guess that's a start. There was nothing at the gambling house. But do you know who she was? The lady that was there. And Bryn goes into her satchel and brings out some papers and hands them to Killian. And he starts looking through them. And one of them has the picture, a drawn picture, a portrait of Vireya, the mistress. And he goes, yeah, that's her. Yeah, her name is Vireya. She's the mistress. Apparently, she was the one that was, taking care of all the prostitution and gambling stuff around Alnor. Everything came back to her. All the gambling houses, all the prostitution rings, everything was funneled towards her. And from her, we're guessing that all that money would be funneled then into the veins, the organization. So that's what we're guessing. We have no proof though. And Killian says, okay, now what? I have no more leads. And Bryn turns to him and says, Killian, do you like parties? And Killian looks at her and says, have you ever seen me at one of them? She starts to smile and says, yeah, actually no. But there is this sort of a party later this evening at the castle in the government district. Would you like to go? I do need a companion. I need a +1. Do you want to be my +1? And Killian turns to her and goes, do I have to? She says, well, never know. Since the veins are so well connected, maybe one of their connections would be at the party. What do you think? Killian looks through and goes, well, whatever again. Okay. Well, what time and where? And she turns to him and goes, well, I'll tell you what. I'll drop by here around 8, and then we can head off towards the government district, to the castle. He goes, okay. And they both get up and they start walking to the door. He opens up the door. She steps out. Before she steps out, she turns to him, gives him a little kiss on the cheek, and says, bring your best attire, and walks out. Fast forward towards the night. It's 8 o'clock in the evening, 2000. And Killian's at the door, and he opens the door, and as he opens the door, Bryn is right in front of him. She's wearing this long dress. It's green, which, accentuates her green eyes and her long blonde hair. And the dress just clings right to her figure. And his eyes just pop wide open. He remembered now how she looked before, how she was when they were together. And he turns to her and goes, cleaned up nice. And she goes, really, Killian? That's what you got to say? I cleaned up nice? No, that's what I say to you. You cleaned up pretty well. And he's wearing sort of a suit one of the better suits that he has when he goes to work. And they both make their way out, and they go down to the government district and into the castle. So they get to the castle. She hands over the invite to the guard at the door, and he waves them in. And everyone's there. The top brass of Alnor is there. And they're all mingling and talking. Music is playing in the background. One of those poshy sort of events. And everyone's all well dressed up and all that. And they both walk in and they start looking around. And Bryn has her arm around his arm. And they're walking in, and she's pointing out people in that are in there. She goes, "Oh, that's the head of the dwarves from the Ironforge district. Everyone in the Ironforge district, all the businesses go through him. He's sort of the governor there." And then she points to another one. "Oh, that's the head magistrate over there." And Killian turns to her, "Yeah, I know who that is." And they continue with all that. She's pointing out everyone. And then he turns to her and goes, "Well, I guess we got to go and mingle, right? We need to find out what's going on." And so they separate. Each of them go their way. And Killian, he starts going through everybody and trying to listen in on conversations. A waiter comes up with a tray. "Would you like some beverage?" And he turns to him and goes, "Got any water?" Water? I'll be right back." And he's quite a bit surprised at the request of water at the party. A couple of minutes later, he comes up to him and hands him a glass of water. Killian says thank you and then continues. And then as he's walking by a group of men, he hears something. He hears one word. Well, actually, he hears two words. He just hears the veins. He stops dead in his tracks and continues to try to be how do I say it? Inconspicuous? Is that the word? Let me know down below. As he's trying to overhear the conversation. Now, does Killian hear the conversation very well? Let's have a look. Let's get our oracle. Let's get Moses' oracle. And let's see what comes up from this. So, does he hear the whole conversation? Or does he get the meaning of what he just heard about the veins? Yes, he does. So, he does know that the veins, the conversation is about the veins. And he just hears something like, "Yeah, they're all over the place. They've taken the streets. The guard can't do anything." And someone else says, "They can't do anything, or they don't want to do anything. From what I've heard, the guards, they're actually being paid off by the veins to turn the heads, to turn a blind eye." And another fella goes, "Really? I doubt that very much. The guards are sworn to protect Alnor. The guards are sworn to protect Arduin." And the first guy goes, "Yeah, but they don't make that much money. The wage isn't that good. It's totally understandable if someone pays them off, just to turn a blind eye." Oh, that is very, very unprofessional. And Killian then turns around, goes towards him, and he infiltrates himself into the group, and they all just staring at him. And he says, are you talking about the veins? I heard that they've got some sort of thing out in the streets that turns people's heads, you know, makes them go mad. And the other three are just looking at him. Oh, who are you? And Killian goes, oh, I'm sorry, oops, I hit my camera. Sorry. My name is Killian Silverwood. I'm a scribe at the archives just down the street. Oh, okay, you're one of the government officials. And Killian goes, yes, I am. And the first guy goes, well, yeah, I heard that also. I heard that they're like selling some sort of drug on the streets. Killian goes, yes, I've heard that. It's like the mind something. And one of the men goes, oh yes, the mind bend. I think that's what they call it, the mind bend. Yeah, Killian, yes, that's right. So do you reckon it is the veins that are selling that? And the third man, who's been completely silent, just staring at the group, turns to him. He's completely silent. Oh, and the first guy turns to him and goes, what do you think? Captain? What do you think? And Killian looks at the man that was completely silent. And he looks at him and he notices who he... Does he know who he is? Let's see. Does Killian know who... The third man who's been quiet, does he know who he is? No buts. So no buts is roll on the verb and noun table, and it has a silver lining. So something more or less good will come out of it. Let's go then. No buts. So for the verb, we've got 15. Protect. Okay, let me write that down. We've got protect. And for the noun, 52, might. Protect, might. So Killian doesn't know who this man is, but we got protect might, and that could mean what? Let's see. Protect might. I know. Killian doesn't know who the man is. He knows he's a captain because the other man called him captain. But he gets this sense that the captain is being evasive. Like he's protecting something or someone. And as the man turns to him, what do you think, Captain? The captain just stares at them all, and his eyes fixate on Killian and says, don't know. I think that's a bit over my pay grade. And one of the men goes, oh, your pay grade? You are the captain of the city guard. Like, above you, just the magistrates and the governor of Alnor. And the captain goes, yeah, but I don't know anything. And he turns and walks away. Killian continues to look at him, saying, okay, something's here, something's wrong. Killian turns to the other men and goes, who is that? And one of the men says, well, you're a scribe at the archive and you don't know who that captain is? That's the captain of the city guard. Killian goes, well, I am a scribe at the archive, but that's what I am. I'm a scribe. I don't meet too many famous people or, powerful people where I work. I'm just down in the dungeon, just scribbling away at the archives on the parchment, writing up stuff. And the other man goes, yeah, yes, of course, totally understandable, yes. But yes, it is the city guard, the captain of the city guard. He is, well, you can say he's sort of like the third most powerful man in all of Alnor. And Killian goes, oh, okay then, thank you. Look, have the rest of a fun evening, and I hope to see you again some other day. The other two goes, yes, likewise, thank you, yeah, bye. And Killian goes out, and he sees Bryn at the other end of the room, and he goes towards her. He gets to her, she entangles her arm once again in his arm. She whispers to him, so, did you get any information? And Killian goes, no, well, don't really know. Do you know the captain of the city guard? She says, yes, of course I do. And Killian goes, well, there's something off with him. We were over there talking, and one of the men asked him a question, and he was really evasive. Like he's protecting something or someone. He just waved his hand, said, don't know, it's above my pay grade. And he just walked off. She said, well, what was the question? He said, well, one of the men asked him if he thought that the veins were the one that were pushing the mind bend through the streets of Alnor. And she says, oh, it's above my pay grade, I don't know. And he walked away. And she turned to him and says, do you think he's on the pay? Do you think the veins are paying him out? Because he is the captain of the city guard. If anyone should know that information, or some information about that respect, it surely would be him. And Killian says, well, I got to keep an eye on him. I have to keep an eye on him. All of a sudden, there was this big bang, like someone hitting a staff on the floor. Everyone stopped, and they turned around to where the sound came from. And from the entrance of the room, the hall, there's a man there saying, and he spoke up real loud, ladies and gentlemen of all species, welcome to Castle Alnor. With you tonight, our very, how should I say this? You know, I'm not good at these things. I'm not all poshy. Our honorable host, the King of Alnor. What's his name? Oh. Well, as you can see, this is like straight off. How should I say? Off the cuff. I did have that name generator around here somewhere. I can't find it. Okay, give me a second. Let me see if I can find it. We're going to use the name generator from which I got from Mage Hammer's Facebook group. You can go there and download this and other stuff that's there that can help you with your game. And we're going to be rolling D6s then all the way. So let's do it. So D6, we're going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there. We got a 5, so we're going down to this area here. And then we got another 5 right here. And let's see, King Kelrilo. King Kelrilo. Let's put that right here. King Kelrilo. with you, our formidable host, King Kelrilo. And the man steps aside, and you see a group of guards, 2 on one side, 2 on the other, and in the middle there's this human male walking through, all regal, with a big white beard. His hair is white and cut short, and he is like a king. You can see that he is actually, his whole demeanor, the way he walks and everything, he is a king. Behind him comes a red-headed lady, all regal also, which Killian knows that is the queen. And behind him, some other people. And as he walks in, everyone bows their head as he passes, and he passes by Killian and Bryn, and they both bow their heads. And as he goes by, they lift up their heads once again, and Bryn starts pointing out all the people, all the entourage that's coming up behind him. And of course, there's like government officials from other places. There's government officials from, let's get Darwin here, from Alcliff up the top. There's the government official from Fallfort, Maryport. The head honcho from Dulgrim's Holds, the dwarf, is there also. And there's a lot of people, and she's pointing them out, and then she says, oh, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so, don't know him, don't know her, and stuff like that. And there's this one fella in the back who walks by, an elf, and Bryn turns to him and goes, oh, I don't know who he is, never seen him actually. And Killian just looks at him, and that fella also looks at Killian, smiles, bows his head. Killian bows his head, and he goes along. And that's where I'm going to stop this episode today. Hope you enjoyed this little bit of story time for the Shadow of Alnor. And I'll see you all on the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Go and check out Moses' stuff on DriveThruRPG, and also Streamline Superheroes from John Frederick's Sharp Mountain Games. Go and check out both their channels and their pages on DriveThruRPG. Have a great one. Bye-bye.